So now it's like, oh, like I can just like email people and call or talk to people on the phone and figure out what they need, and I can just help them, and I can just provide some kind of service to them, and they'll pay me money. And it's just like, wow.
Hey guys, I'm Delisha Ivins here with Mike Shreve on behalf of Mike Shreve. Not here with Mike Shreve. Ivins on behalf of Mike Shreve and the No Pants Project. And I'm here today with Jessica Berlin. She's another student in the No Pants Project, and she's going to share with you today a little bit about her freelance success story and some of the things that she's learned and obstacles that she's overcome, and give you some breakthroughs. Give you guys some breakthroughs that you can use while building your freelance business today. So Jessica, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I felt like 2 cups of coffee. So
yeah.
So tell me a little bit about MPP and finding out about your superpower. Like, how did you find out about your superpower, and describe to me what your superpower is?
Well, I came into the program. So let's see. So in college and things, I studied communication, public relations, and I worked at a public relations agency for about 8 years before I had my 2 kids. And I've been a stay-at-home mom ever since then, so for about 6 years. But I've always kind of been in the writing, communication, PR kind of background. So I kind of came into the program knowing that that would probably be kind of where I ended up. But as I was going through the superpower week 2, and then also moved over into building my expertise statement for, with the Mike's Fast Client Getting workshop, I kind of ended up wanting to help specifically like yoga and fitness studios. And that mainly just happened because I've been going to yoga classes a long time. But then most recently, when we moved here to the Sacramento area, I started going to a Bikram yoga class, and I just felt like the people and the teachers specifically in these classes just had so much knowledge and so much information that they could share with their students in their classes, but they, I don't know, they just didn't really have a way of like communicating that in writing or communicating it outside of their classes. And I just felt like I could help them. And I had other ideas for other clients, but I just kind of decided to, try it out and see what happened. So I ended up with my kind of expertise statement that I use and my superpower, as I help fitness studio owners fill their classes, programs, and studio with new customers and clients by engaging their existing clients with content that exponentially expands word of mouth marketing. And so I've been so far basically trying to help yoga and fitness studios with their content, with their marketing, and kind of just trying to get them started with, with that, being able to share their knowledge so that they can increase their word of mouth marketing and bring more students into their classes. So that's how I ended up there.
Doing like content creation and things like that for your clients?
Yeah, not so far. So far what I've done is developed kind of content marketing plans for 2 different studios. And then one of them I'm also doing like I brainstorm content ideas and giving them a big list of ideas and that they could use to write their own content. And that's kind of where I've started. That's kind of where I ended up with the Fast Client Getting workshop program. And then, I'm kind of hoping that once I give these plans to them, which I've actually delivered both of the content marketing plans to both of those clients so far, just like in the last week. And then I'm working now on that brainstorm list and then a content calendar for that one client. And I'm kind of hoping that, once I give these to them and then they kind of figure out, okay, this is like kind of a lot. Like I gave it to them with the idea that they could, do this stuff on their own, but, if they get to a point where it's like, okay, no, I really can't do this stuff on my own, then they would then come back to me and want to work more with me. So, and, offering additional services so far. So that's what I'm doing.
That's pretty awesome. And just to clarify too, for you guys that are listening, so the Fast Client Getting, which is what Jessica has been doing, and she's been doing really awesome with it. The Fast Client Getting is actually an extra module that's included in your MVP package. So it's like a separate program from the No Pants project, but it's an extra project that you have access to right now, which is super awesome.
Yeah.
And obviously works really well.
Yes, it does. Yeah. I went through so I really went through week 2 of the No Pants Project program, the main program. And then that was about the point when Mike had added the Fast Client Getting workshop to the program. And so I was kind of like, I was talking to the accountability coaches. I was like, okay, well, which way do you think I should go? Should I try to, do this Fast Client Getting thing, or should I keep going with the program? And they kind of said, maybe it's just worth a shot just to try it out, because it was kind of the thing that everybody was doing at the time.
Right. It's so been good, though.
Yeah, no, but it's been really good. I actually felt like it worked really well at that point in the program, because I don't know, you get through week 2 and then you're like, okay, I have the superpower, and now what do I do? And then weeks 3 and 4 are kind of like helping you build your packages and figure out who you're going to work with. And I'm kind of just now getting back to that after a couple of months of been working through the Fast Client Getting workshop. But it's actually, I think, going to be way easier to build my packages and build my prices, because I have these clients that I've already been working with, and I can kind of use them as my case study and my test cases for figuring out these packages. And the Fast Client Getting workshop also helped me build some initial packages. I mean, I need to tweak it a little bit, because I haven't done like the appetizers main, I kind of have mostly just appetizer kind of things so far, but I need to, you need to build it out more. But I built my packages as I was talking to potential clients and doing my discovery calls, and talking to actual people that I could actually help, and trying to figure out, how I can help them, and building my packages based on what they said. So that's been really good.
Yeah, I think part of it is the really the awesomeness of the Fast Client Getting workshop is that you actually kind of get your hands in and get them dirty, and really talk to people and find out okay, this is my dream customer. What are their needs? How do I really help them? Which is a really awesome part of the program. So that's super cool. And it can help you, like you said, get an idea for how to tier your services and how to build your service ladder.
Yeah. I've gotten so many good ideas, and I have more ideas of things that I want to do. And I've got I've already got ideas from what I want my lighthouse to be, based on, I don't know, I'm going to build this guide to never ending content or something like that. I don't know. I just have, and the other day, one of my clients, I was talking to him, and he said, I really like some examples of other fitness blogs. What do other people do? I don't know what other bloggers do. What does a good blog post look like? And I'm like, oh, I could totally just create a swipe file for fitness blog posts, that I could just give that, I don't know, or sell that as an app. I don't know. Anyways, I just have other ideas, because they keep throwing things out there that's I'd really like this, or I'd really like this. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I can tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's safe to say that you're enjoying it so far.
Yes. It's been good. Yeah. It's been really, I don't know. It's been eye-opening. It's been empowering. I've been a stay-at-home mom for 6 years, and it's kind of I've always kind of thought in the back of my head, I'd like to do some freelance. I mean, being from PR, communication writing, I mean, there's lots of freelance writers out there, and I'm like, well, it's something I could do, but I didn't really know how to get started. So this program has just really helped me. I joined, so it's, what is it, February, and I joined in November. So it's only been, a few months, and I have 2 clients that have paid me, and just, and 10 discovery calls I did. And yeah, I mean, it's just just knowing that you can do this is just really, it feels really good, Yeah.
So, and part of that too, I think the knowing that you can do that comes from the coaching and the really the group Yeah, at least on my experience, like, yeah, you're doing the work, you're going through the modules, and all those things are great, and they are helping you build the skills and build the mindset for that. But then when you can go and like post your stuff in the group and get feedback from like 15, 20 other people who are like, yes, totally, go do this. In fact, if you tweak this and this and this, it's going to work even more better. Like it's going to be more efficient.
Yeah.
That's been like one of my favorite things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been the Fast Client Getting Workshop, I was really in that particular Facebook group. I was, really, posting a lot, like as I was going through the beginning stages of it, like my first call and when I was sending my first emails, and then when I was doing my first call, and then, how it went. And I was like, really, it kind of became like my journal, but
awesome. We got to watch you grow through that too.
Yeah,
it was super fun.
It's really like nice to hear the feedback from everybody else. And, so that's been really a really good part of it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like watching you as like you were posting all your accountability stuff, like your email stats as your emails were being open and your booking discovery calls, and just watching like it starts out as just like, okay, I'm going to send these day one emails, I'm going to send these day two emails, and all of a sudden you're like, I had this discovery call booked, I had this one booked, and it's just like, what?
Yeah. Well, and if you really do it, then it works. I mean, the system works. So yeah, it's been. Yeah, it's amazing, but it also just feels really, it's like people are cheering you on along the way, and so the accountability is great. The group has been really good.
That's awesome. And then with the Fast Client Getting 2, there's actually like a separate accountability group for that that's kind of focused on that, which is super great. So you've got the No Pants Project group, and then you've got the Fast Client Getting group, and you've got like basically kind of focused support in each of those areas, which is pretty awesome. So that's great. So can you tell me a little bit? I know you've been stay-at-home mom,
yes,
which I totally get. So what are some of your goals for moving forward with freelancing? Like what are some of the things that you're looking forward to, like changes in your life, things that you want to see happen, in the next year or 2 years?
Yeah. So, being a stay-at-home mom, so my kids I have 2 boys who are 6 and 3. And so, and I kind of always had this idea that, once my kids were both in school, that I would go back to work. Mm-hmm. But that time is getting closer, my youngest is 3 now, and I'm kind of like, God, I really don't want to go back to work. Like it just, I don't really want to be away from them. I mean, even, once they are in school, I want to be able to be there with them after school and, help them with their homework and make dinner and, be able to be there with them. But, I'd also like to be able to provide some supplemental income for our family. My husband has a good job, and we've been able to make it work with just his one income for the last 6 years. But, we're buying a house, right now. It's under construction. It's a new house that's, we just moved up here to be closer to our family. And so we're buying a house, and so we're going to be moving in there in a few months. And I'd love to be able to just, help pay for the furniture and all the things that we need to buy for this house. And then, eventually the mortgage payment and all of those things too, and just be able to help us be more comfortable, as a family without me having to go back to a full-time job. So that's the main thing. That's the main, thing that I would just love, is just to be able to just have us be comfortable and have us be able to do the things that we still want to do. We want to be able to travel still, and we want to be able to, I don't know, just be financially okay without me having to do a full-time work again. I worked at a PR agency for 8 years, and that was before kids. And it was a lot of hours and a lot of work and a lot of being on call all the time. And, I'd like to be able to have the freedom to do what I want and be there for my kids and volunteer in my kids' classes and, all of those kinds of things, go on their field trips with them, and, but still be able to financially help us out as well. So.
Well, you're kicking butt at it. You keep up, you might over.
Thank you.
You're doing an awesome job. So you're put him out of a job, right?
Yeah, that would be funny.
You can be a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah, he would enjoy that. Actually, he has lots of other hobbies and other things he'd like to do too.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Go ahead, hon. You work it. It's good.
Yeah,
We got
yeah,
it."
exactly.
So, so you guys are building a house right now, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
well, it's like a new construction house that's,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it'll be done in May. So
Yay!
yeah, we're looking forward to it. Yeah.
That's
We've been
awesome.
living with my in-laws for, by the time we move out, it'll be almost a year. We've been living with my in-laws. So it'll be,
We did it too. That's super
yeah,
cool. I'm so excited for you guys. And so,
yeah.
right now, you've got two clients or three clients that you're working with right
Two
now.
clients. Yeah. Two clients that have actually paid me, and then a couple more that are kind of like in the works and, or, they haven't really like committed yet, but I'm
Mhm.
still following up with them. So
Man, by the time you guys hit May, you might be pretty solid booked.
yeah, I hope so. That would be awesome.
I know. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
you kind of had an idea of what you thought you wanted to focus on going into the course,
Yeah.
as far as like public relations and writing and things like that. How would you say, like, how has the program changed your confidence level? Like before going in, what you thought about freelancing, like what your ideas were about freelancing compared to now, like now that you've got some clients under your belt and you're moving
Right.
forward.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I mean, it's, it's night and day, honestly, before and after. I mean, um, coming in, so I mean, like I said before, like I kind of always thought, oh, I could be a freelance writer. I could do some freelance writing on the side, kind of a thing. But I never really, I don't know, I never got into Upwork or anything else like that. But or but I would Google it every so often, like, which is probably honestly how I found this program, because I would start Googling like freelance, and then I'm sure his Facebook ads found me. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, so I just kind of didn't really know where to start or how to get into it. And so I never really knew how to make money on my own without having a job, like having an actual real job. Like that was my only real background or mentality for, making money. So now it's like, oh, like I can just like email people and call or talk to people on the phone and figure out what they need, and I can just help them, and I can just provide some kind of service to them, and they'll pay me money. And it's just like, wow.
This is
So
awesome.
yeah. So definitely, I mean, night and day just increased my confidence. I mean, and my family is all like, really, like, what are you doing?
Just be like, guys, I'm a fempreneur.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shake it off.
Yeah, exactly. So
That's pretty awesome.
yeah, so I mean, yeah, I mean, that's been great. I mean, just the fact that I really think that, yeah, I can really do it now. Like I know the process, and I'm going to continue to go through the no pan stuff and hopefully
Mhm.
get my lighthouse and all of the inbound marketing stuff done too. But as far as outbound marketing goes with the Fast Client Getting Workshop, it's like, yeah, it's no big deal. And I also feel like I don't know, I've been learning new skills along the way too. I mean, like you were helping me the other day, like a couple weeks ago, about the Facebook ads, and just all the people in the program are really, I mean, everybody's so willing to help you. And with all the coaches and everybody too, it's like, oh, somebody says they need Facebook ads. Okay, well, I have all these resources to go to now that I know how to figure out how to do those. And, I can take a few, you know, classes like within the No Pants Project or the No Pants Academy or whatever. And then I can figure out how to do it. And I can go, okay, yeah, sure, client, I can do this for you too. And I can charge people for it. Like, no big deal, So
Yeah,
that's been really
I've been
amazing.
pretty amazed at like the diversity that's in
Yeah.
the coaching program. Like as far as the amount of students that are in there, like everybody who's in there, everybody has different backgrounds. Like from somebody who bakes cupcakes to
Right.
somebody who publishes Kindle books to somebody
Yeah.
who's a content writer to somebody who like builds websites. Like,
Right.
and there are all these like levels of like from tech to non-tech to everything
Yeah.
in between. And it's just a really cool like tribe mentality, how everybody kind of pitches in. And I know I've totally been helped out a lot of
Yeah.
times by people
Yeah.
willing to
I
pitch.
actually, it, I mean, from people that were in the No Pants Accountability group, they referred me to. I was looking for like a partner. Actually, one of my discovery calls was with a manager of a gym, and he wanted content, but he wanted like nutrition content, and he wanted actually like a nutritionist to, he needed the subject matter expert as well as the writer. And so I was like, well, maybe I could find somebody within the program to partner with me on this project, and we could put something together. And people in the accountability group referred me to somebody who had said something in the open community and who was a nutritionist. And I found this woman, Kaylee, who's a nutritionist, and we put together, I contacted her and we talked on the phone, and she was totally going to partner. We didn't end up actually getting this particular project, or at least not yet. I don't know. He might still contact us later, but we hooked up and we're like, oh yeah, she's a nutritionist. And she's kind of does some freelancing writing stuff on the side as well. And she could have done the whole thing, but she's like, well, I have a lot of other stuff going on. So yeah, I could totally be your subject matter expert, and we could put this package together, and we could both get paid. And, so it's just like, you can find people that can help you. And Mike said that before with lots of, you need web help, then go to the group and find somebody that can help you with your website or whatever. So everybody's really willing to chip in and help everybody out.
Yeah, I know. It's been super awesome. I've totally pulled that card a lot of times.
Yeah.
So let's see. So you started the program in November, and you started Fast Client Getting
in about December, like mid-December-ish. Okay. But I really started, going through the modules and researching my list and everything around in that time frame, but I didn't start emailing. So by the end of December, I had I had a list of about 100 contacts just from researching the way that the modules tell you to do. And then I started my first emails on January 2nd, because, New Year's. I'm like, let's start the new year and get through the holidays and everything, So yeah, I started emailing, and it took me about a week or so, maybe a little bit over a week to email all of those people initially. And then I continued to follow up afterwards. And then but I also had I actually had my first discovery call, because I had, in December, I had my first discovery call in December with, she was a woman who used to be my trainer. And so I had contacted her. She had kind of contacted me a little bit through LinkedIn, because she saw some things. So anyways, so I had my first call in December, and then had more calls starting at the beginning of January. I had a couple of people that I had, that's the other thing that happened with the program, is that I just, by posting my superpower expertise statement, I had 2 people in the group say, oh, I know somebody that you could help. You should contact this person. And I had discovery calls with both of those people. And one of those people was my first client. Yes. Like somebody that was referred to me from somebody else in the No Pants Project. And it, that really helps, because then he kind of initiated the original email and was like, oh, this person could help you. And so, yeah, that's been really awesome too. Just, everybody helping each other out.
Maybe some word of mouth, free networking.
Yeah, exactly.
So you started the Fast Client Getting in December, and then we had like a week of downtime, like around Christmas and New Year's. And then you had like a week maybe that you got all your emails, or your 100 emails that you started with that. Yeah. Okay. So you had all this pulled, and then you started January 2nd. No, so from January 2nd, do you recall ish, like when was the first discovery call you booked? Like after you started kind of sending out emails, was it like in the first week, or was it like in the second week?
Yeah, within the first week.
Awesome.
I could look at my calendar, but it was definitely pretty quickly after that first round of emails. The emails, Mike in the modules, he talks a lot about the follow-up. There's a whole video on follow-up, which I sent my whole first round of emails, and I was like, yay, I sent my first email, all my first set of emails. And then I was like, oh, Mike said something about following up. Okay, how often do I have to follow up? And I posted it in the group, and then I went back and watched the follow-up video that he has in that module. And he's like, you have to follow up every 1 to 2, or like you should be sending follow-up emails every 1 to 2 days after you send an initial email. And I was like, oh my God, seriously? Like every 1 to 2 days? And I didn't really exactly do that. I probably sent follow-up emails to people I didn't hear from like 3 to 4 days after I originally sent them an email if they hadn't already, responded. But yeah, the follow-ups are really important. And I definitely got a lot of emails back and then scheduled calls because I had emailed like 2 or 3 or 4 times already. And, you tweak up the email a little bit and you give them more benefits. And but the templates in the program are amazing. And he just kind of tells you exactly what to do. And the discovery calls are really, they're not easy. Initially it's a challenge, but, he has a really good script and if you mostly just follow it, then you can do it.
Yeah. And I think that's like a really cool thing to point out with Fast Client Getting specifically, is that in the video modules, like Mike gives you all the emails. So like for those 7 or 8 days that you're sending emails, like you're following up like, okay, day 1, and then you're sending like day 2, day 3, day 4, like here's the scripts, like these plug and play Mad Libs type, you swap out this blank and put in your stuff, like your client's pain point, your client's, the benefit you're going to deliver, that kind of stuff. And then they're ready to go.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool because for somebody like me who has like no copyright skills, super helpful.
Yeah. Well, and even for me though, I'm a writer. I've been a writer for a long time. I did like journalism. I did like news writing, I did news releases and things like that where, for my clients, but when I worked at PR, but I've never really done like cold emails, like trying to get a client before, or like telling people about myself I wouldn't have known what to do either if I hadn't had those templates. They've been awesome. So yeah, I just looked at my calendar. So I started sending emails January 2nd and I had from those set of first 100 emails, a week later, January 9th, I had my first call. And actually that next week, that following week, the second week of January, I had 3 calls scheduled. And then the next week after that, I had 3 more calls scheduled. And then the next week, like 1, and next week 1. So yeah, it happened pretty quickly. Within a week, I had 3 calls scheduled.
So let's see. Okay, you had 1 and then 3 and then 3. So that's 7. And then you had another 3, or was that?
So I actually had a call. My second call scheduled was on January 2nd because that was one of the people that had referred to me from No Pants, and so I had been contacting with those people in December, and then I scheduled that original call. So I'd had 1 in December and then 1 January 2nd. I had 3 the next week, 3 the following week, 1 and then 1. I've had a total of 10 calls. Yeah, discovery calls. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's about 10. Although I don't know, I'm starting to lose track. Yeah, but I'm not actually. I'm not really doing new emails right now or new. I kind of stopped doing it for a while because I was getting a little overwhelmed, honestly. I needed to focus because I had 2 paying clients. I needed to actually like have time to do the work for them. And so I kind of decided I'm just going to focus on getting that done, which I'm close. I should be done with that this week. And then I have a couple other people that I need to follow up with still. I don't know, one person wants me to maybe do a survey for them. So I might be doing that. But then I also wanted to try to get back to the No Pants project and start setting up the rest of my, my lighthouse and everything like that. So that's what I've been working on.
That's pretty cool.
That's my current goal is finish the client work that I've already gotten, and then go through weeks 4 and 5 of NPP, which is where I'm at right now. So.
Yep. And now you've got a confidence boost and you've got some cash in your back pocket, forward, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Fast Client Getting, which I like.
Yeah. I know a lot of people get to like weeks 4 or 5 and they're like, I'm not making any progress. And I don't know, I keep encouraging people to check out Fast Client Getting workshop because it's like, it can really help you, give you the confidence boost and as well as give you, some money. So you're like, okay, or, and other clients in the works too. Like some of the other people that I've talked to, like could still turn into clients, in the next few weeks or a month or whatever. So
sometimes it's just a waiting game. It's like 30
exactly.
days.
Yeah.
But the fact that you had like, what was it? Like 8 calls within 30 days.
Yeah, absolutely.
8 calls within 30 days, and out of which you got 2 clients within that first, couple of weeks, like of starting the program. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. No. Yeah. by the end of January, I had one client, and then the second one came shortly after. And yeah, yeah, yeah. And they're not, neither of them, both of them were just like one-time projects,
Mhm.
but I don't know, with kind of the hope that they could be, could want more services down the road, or at
Or
least,
refer you.
yeah, exactly. Or at least refer or give me a really good testimonial. I mean, my testimonials that I have on my website that I have so far were from like my old work that I used to do. So it'd be really nice to get, some testimonials from actual fitness yoga studio clients, that I've actually done work for. So that would be my next step as well, is just try to get, and I have some case studies now, and I have, some experience in this, particular realm that I've chosen. So it'll help me, I think, get future clients as well. So
I think it definitely will. I mean, it's all just, it's in phases. You got to like build the
yeah,
foundation, erect the walls, you got to get all
exactly.
that stuff done before you can put the paint on. So
Right. Yep.
you are headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
So out of your fast client getting experience, out of using that module, like what would you say were some of your like memorable high points in the program when you were like, oh my gosh, I'm on top of a mountain. I got this.
Well, definitely when I got the first payment. I got $700 in PayPal, and like someone actually paid me, and I was like, holy crap, like, oh my God, I can't believe somebody paid me real money to do this. And I haven't even done anything for them yet.
Mm-hmm.
I got my payment up front. Like that was, I don't know, even just that was like, God, you really just like ask for money up front, and like people will do it. But they did.
I know. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I remember that post. I remember when you posted that, and I was like, yes,
Yeah.
so excited. That's so cool.
It was very exciting. It was a very exciting day. It was like a Friday too. And then actually it was like a week later. Well, like a week. Yeah, it was about a week later. It was like 2 Fridays in a row I got like payments. I was like, oh my God, it's like every Friday I just get paid. It only happened twice.
A job that I don't have to talk in for.
Exactly.
And my pajama pants around the house, or my yoga
exactly.
pants. Yeah. Drink coffee and chai tea. It's wonderful.
Yes. It's awesome. Yeah, so that was amazing. But as far as like going through the program, I don't know. The first couple discovery calls were a little bit challenging. I mean, getting over the first hurdle of like, okay, I have to like, get on the phone and talk to this person and go, but by like the third call, I remember was with a woman who, she's not a client, but I don't know, I feel like I could potentially help her still in the future. But it was like such a fun call. Like she was such an awesome person to talk to. And I just like felt like I was really starting to get my groove finally with the discovery call process and like what I should be doing. And so that was really cool, just to be like, oh, okay, I get this. And, I've had good calls and bad calls, and, whatever. Some of them are not so good. I had one that was, the guy totally, threw me off guard because he put me on speaker and he brought in these other people, like his manager of marketing and blah, blah, blah. And then they just like sat there, kept asking for my pitch the whole time. And I'm like,
oh yeah.
So, there's good ones and there's bad ones, but yeah. And then,
but like, because of the work that you've done in MPP though, you already have a pretty good idea of like what your boundaries are and like how to filter these clients out. So you're like, I don't really want to work for you.
Yeah. Well, and that really helped me, that particular call. And I posted about that call as well. I mean, this is the other thing. Like you can post every time you have a call. I would just like post in the group and like tell my whole thing. And then I'd like get all this great advice, get great advice. And then I'd be like, oh, okay, now this is what I do next. And you just like have like a step-by-step guide of like what to do, which is really cool. Like real life, like, what, this is what happened. What should I do next? So that's been really cool. But yeah, that particular call really helped me set my boundaries and go, okay, yeah, like I don't really want to work for this guy. Like, and I don't have to work for this guy. Like I have the choice, like I don't need to send him my packages. I could just say, thanks, but no thanks. And so I did. I just emailed him and said, I don't think this is going to work out, but thanks so much for your time. And he responded, thank you. And that was it. And so that was good. So yeah, the calls, I've had good calls and bad calls. And then putting my packages together has been really a good process as well through through that workshop. And when I first started, it was like this one pager, little, like 5 little bullet points of like things that I could do. And then I've been just like building them as I've been going and adding more information. And Mike was really helpful in really encouraging me to put in the why. So now it's like each of my packages is like its own page, and it's like I have this big paragraph at the top that's really explaining, why this is going to help them, and just kind of changing my mentality as far as, don't just tell them what you're going to do, but tell them how this is going to help them, and as soon as I switched that to that format, like right after that is literally when I got my second client. It was like almost immediately after I switched to that new format, rather than just telling them, here's a list of things that I'm going to do for you, but switching to, here's how I can help you, and this is why this is going to benefit you, and just putting that information there.
So kind of like switching the point of view. So instead of it being like, this is me, what I'm going to do for you, this is how I'm going to help you.
Yeah, exactly.
In their court. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so you switch that, that's when you get like a higher response rate, all that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's been really good. Yeah. And then just, actually getting clients. I mean, that's been awesome.
So what would you say, if somebody were like thinking about the Fast Client Getting workshop, like what would be like here's 3 things that I did during this workshop that, were really effective for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were, somebody else were like thinking about it, or maybe they're just getting started, like, okay, where do I start? How do I get started? Yeah. What do I do? Like what were your 3 words of wisdom, like your 3 pieces that you would like to offer someone?
Okay. Well, let's see. Let me think from the beginning. So, I know some people have hard times finding contacts, and finding contacts is definitely a sticking point in the beginning. And you're supposed to be finding actual like real email addresses for people, which is hard because that's not always readily available. But I think it was a little bit easier for me because I was so focused specifically on like yoga studio. Like I started and I was just like Googling or, searching on Yelp or LinkedIn even also for yoga studios, and like having like a really specific like kind of business, even if that's not necessarily like the only kind of business that you want to work with, but having somebody like, rather than just like small business or, just getting a little bit more narrow on like some specific kind of business that you can help, I think helps you find contacts. Also, as far as like the email addresses, I don't know, yoga studios, a lot of those like really small businesses on their websites, they have like their contact is like a Gmail. It's, blah, 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 yoga studio @gmail.com. And I just assumed that if they were a small business like that, and that was, they use Gmail or whatever, then that was their actual email address. So I didn't spend a lot of time trying to figure out, the actual person's, personal email address.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did use some of Mike's tricks sometimes for the first initial last name at whatever their like those kind of tricks for finding email addresses, and they work sometimes it didn't work, but sometimes it did. But just so I don't know, getting really focused on like the type of business that you want to help, even if it's not necessarily like the only kind of business you want to help, I think helps you find contacts initially.
So like focusing on a specific industry.
Yeah. I don't know. I see a lot of people are like, oh, I could help, I don't know, do websites or something for like any kind of business. And it's like, well, it's hard to find contacts for any kind. I mean, I don't know. It's just doing the searching that he has you do through the process. It seemed really easy for me. I was like, I could find yoga studios for days. I mean, because there's a million of them out there.
Right.
And yeah. So, I mean, that helped me. And then I kind of went off to like fitness studios or Pilates studio. I mean, I'm not just doing yoga studios specifically, but, um, that helped me at least in the beginning, at least get going with creating the list. Um,
And then you said with the small businesses too, with like some of the smaller like entrepreneur,
yeah,
those businesses that, and I found this too, like, but that a lot of them will have like a, blah, 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 Gmail or
yeah,
Hotmail. So that makes things a little easier
yes,
if you're doing, like small business targeting
yeah,
or B2B targeting, because you don't have to go dig and
right,
find emails and stuff.
right.
So it makes the process a little bit faster too, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I even sent some emails to, like, if they had an info at blah, whatever, I would like try to start sending, their, just try out their first initial last name at their domain name.
Mm-hmm.
But if that didn't work, then I ultimately would just send it to whatever like email address they had on their website. Like if it was an info or at whatever, kind of an email address, I would just send them there. And sometimes I got responses honestly from those too, because like, especially if they're a small enough business, like oftentimes like the owner is the only one that's like checking that
Mm-hmm.
email address, So anyway, so that was that for as far as the email addresses. The other big thing that I talk about in the group all the time is Mixmax.
Yeah.
I love Mixmax. It's awesome. And it's free. It's only free for 14 days, but I mean, I send all my emails out within 14 days. So, I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
could just use it for that. I have started paying for it, but that's just because I loved it so much that I felt like I already had the system going, and the cost wasn't like that much. So I just decided to keep going with it. But just being able, it's a program that helps you track when people open your emails, and so you can see if people are actually looking at them. And I would, I don't know, it was so funny. Like I spent all these evenings like looking at the numbers and going, this person's looked at my email like 8 times or 14 times or something like that, but they haven't responded to me. Like, what's going on? And then I would like send another follow-up email, and then they would respond. And it was like, it just goes to show, like, people have to kind of look at, I don't know, they might be thinking about it or whatever. And it was really helpful to be able to see that people are actually opening your emails or not. And, if you knew that people weren't opening your emails, then it was like, well, okay. Or if it was like one of those info at email addresses, then you're like, okay, well, maybe this is not an address that people actually check or whatever. And then it lets you know what you should be doing next. So that was really helpful. But there's other things that Mixmax lets you do too, like schedule calendar appointments, and it just like, I don't know, it hooks up with your Google Calendar, and then you can just offer some dates. So like when I got to the point where I was trying to schedule a discovery call with somebody, and they were like, yeah, I'm open sometime next week, or they would give me a couple of days that they were open, and then I would just give them a couple times, and then they only have to push a button. Like they just have to literally like click a button for like, okay, yeah, Tuesday at 1:00 is great. And they just click that, and then it confirms the time, and it's on their calendar, it's on my calendar, and it makes that process just a lot easier. And, it's just less like back and forth, and it's easier for them to decide like, okay, yeah, this is really easy to do. I'll just click this button. So that was good. And the other thing that I really liked about it was that you can save all your email templates. So like now in my Mixmax, I have like this whole series of emails. So I have like my initial cold email, I have follow-up number 1, follow-up number 2, follow-up number 3. And then you have these placeholders, for their first name, and then like your personalization information. And it reminds you to like fill all that in. And so I have all of those templates that I created as I was doing all these emails. And so if I want to do it again, I could just go back there and just start with somebody new. And I just start with my initial cold email, and then follow-up 1, follow-up 2, and it's all just there. And you just like, is within a couple of, buttons, you can just have all your emails there, and it's really easy to send them out. So
You don't have to rewrite them again.
yeah, exactly. You don't have to rewrite them or copy and paste from whatever, Word or Google Docs or whatever, like go back and forth. And yeah, it's just all, it just goes really, so that made the follow-ups really easy. Like I'd be like, okay, this is my follow-up day. And I would just, go through each one that I needed to follow up with on my tracking chart, and then just do my little template, and I'd have, 30 emails sent out within a few minutes, honestly,
Yeah, and I think Mike said too, I believe he said in the videos that most of your responses come between emails 5 and 8 too. So just following that follow-up process, it's consistency is key.
Yeah.
It's frequency, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know how many things that was. I mixed snacks.
Yeah, those 3.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but yeah, so definitely Mix Max was a big one, and maybe like honing in on one industry or one kind of like niche or niche.
Yeah.
Tomato. Going debate with that. And making sure that you kind of follow through the templates, and don't it's kind of like that in MPP has that saying, 3 feet from gold, like you start emails and all of a sudden you stop at day 5 and you're like, I don't want to do it, and then everybody like is on day 6 waiting to see that 6th email come through so they can call you,
right.
So those are all
the follow-ups are definitely important in Fast Client Getting Workshop. I mean, I many of my calls came after I sent at least 3 emails, and honestly, I mean, and I started at the beginning of the year, people were busy in the beginning of the year, and I don't know, fitness studios, they're all busy, like, January 1st with everyone's New Year's resolutions or whatever. So I knew that people might be slow to respond. And I would get responses like to my initial email, like weeks later after I had sent them like several other emails, but sometimes they would just all of a sudden they like discover that email again, but I don't know. It's like, you never know what's going to happen. So just I don't know. You don't have to feel like you're pestering people. Originally I was like, oh my God, I can't send another email like the very next day after I've sent one email to them, because I don't want to just be bugging these people. But I don't know, people don't look at their emails that much. So, I mean, they might not see your first one, or they don't even see it until you send 3 or 4 emails, so.
Might to the wrong folder.
Yeah, exactly.
The email has that whole priority inbox thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you want to make sure you send them so that you have a chance to like, get one of them in front of them, or a few of them they're going to see, right?
Yep.
Cool. Well, Jessica, I think you're killing it.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking some time out of your day and out of your toddler nap time.
Yes.
Your relaxing time.
Well, it's really become my work time, honestly.
True. Okay. So thank you for doing that, because I know you got like a whole bunch of stuff going on, and you've got client work. So that's really awesome. And I'm so excited that you're killing it in Fast Client Getting, and that I'll get to see you back over in the No Pants project soon, and building your lighthouse. And that's going to be really exciting too.
Yeah. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll be back more over there. So, and getting all of those things done too. So.
Cool. Well, we'll be looking for you, and I hope you have an awesome afternoon. Thanks so much.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.